Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again and welcome to another video here at Wild Moon Lacquer. In today's video we are doing more of my collection organizing. This section is going to be Q through T. It is one of the bigger sections, although Q is definitely the smallest letter of these four. Biggest brand in that category is definitely Quixotic. That is about half of the polishes in this first tote here, but S is massive. S takes the cake for probably one of the biggest letters after C, because C had like Color Club and China Glaze, both of which are really big groupings in my collection as well. But I do already have most of, if not all of my Quixotic separated out into their own section, and I have done a little bit of reorganizing already. So I have a drawer at the bottom of that little cardboard rack available for my Qs. That's where Quixotic will go. And basically what I ended up doing, since the last portion I already knew I was running out of space, so I had mentioned that I had these drawers. I can't use the top ones because they do sag, but I decided that I would go ahead and use the bottom ones. So I moved my China Glaze from where they were here in the 1.5 drawers that they were filling. So China Glaze now has its own drawer, taking up quite a lot of real estate in that. And so far the drawer seems to be holding up because, like I said, it's on ground level, so it doesn't really have room to sag into. And then I put OPI in the second drawer, and that barely has any room. I'm definitely gonna have to go through that brand and see about getting rid of anything, duplicates, polishes that I don't like, etc. This isn't even all of them. OPI is definitely one of the biggest chunks. This is also anything that is OPI related. So this is going to include Sephora by OPI. It's also going to include Nicole by OPI, which is here. So any of those offshoots of OPI, which meant that I could go through and shuffle down the drawers that I now had empty to make room for Q. So like I said, this is going to be Q through T. We're going to start by putting all of the Quixotic polishes into that now vacant drawer for it, and we'll go from there. All right, so what I've been doing to try to make it easier to have chunks of polish at a time to organize, because even with just 4 letters of the alphabet at a time, it's still a pretty large chunk. I have been sorting it 2 at a time from that grouping. So of Q through T, I separated out any of the Qs and Rs, and that left me with that. Like I said, S and T are by far the biggest category of these 4 letters, but here's what we have to deal with for those first 2 letters. I will say I already have Rogue separated out here, so they were the ones next to Quixotic. So I already have most of my Rogue polishes set aside here. So what we're going to be doing now is sorting out the rest of our R's and any possible Q's. All right, so besides Rogue, R is a pretty small section. Now that is not including the polishes that I'm going to be keeping from the estate haul. I have a lot more Rescue Beauty Lounge. That's one of the bigger categories. In fact, maybe that'll be the brand that I do next for swatches and comparisons and all of that. In any case, this is what I have currently in my collection. So we have RX, Rescue Beauty Lounge, Red Eyed Lacquer, which is one of the bigger sections here as far as indie brands that I didn't already have set aside into their own brand. Restored by Polish, Reverie, and then Revlon and Rimmel London. So we already know we're out of space, so I think what we're going to do with these is keep them in totes until I can get some more drawers available. Behind the polish that I have in the huge estate haul, I do have 2 more bottom drawers that I probably will be making use of. But in any case, I think what I'm going to do for now is just put these back in an orderly fashion, as opposed to the chaos that they were before, back into the little tote, and then we will go on into the biggest category, S and T. And as I was putting these away, I do realize I probably have more Revlon than that. I need to find out where those are. But in any case, that is our now somewhat organized section of our polishes. Rogue is going to have its own section. I think I'm going to move it from this bigger tote that I have it in into a smaller section, maybe something like this. Yeah, seems like it should fit nicely in this one. And then we will move on to those S's. All right, so we are going to do S's now. S's and T's, and I already know Sally Hansen is going to be a huge, huge section. I will not have room to lay out even all of those in one chunk, so I'm going to put those in a tote when I come across them. Any of the other S's I will sort here. We'll see if we have room to do the T's at the same time, but like I said, S is one of, if not the biggest chunk, so let's go ahead and get going. In fact, I think I'm also going to do Sinful Colors in their own section as well, their own little bin. All right, that was just tote 1 of my S's and T's. I did find another Revlon that somehow snuck in there. And yeah, we are really running out of room for a lot of these. I think I'm going to have to bring in another little tote to put a couple of these other bigger brands in, like Supernatural. I actually don't know if they are still making polish. I know they had some pauses in their polish making, but I honestly don't know if they're still making polish. But I actually have quite a lot from them from a few years ago, so I'm going to give them their own little tote so that they aren't continuing to make a pyramid over here. And same with Sassy Sauce. I have quite a lot from Sassy Sauce, and they are also creating a pyramid over here. So I'm going to move those into their own tote and organize that way, so I have more room here for sorting the second tote. All right, so that gave us a little bit more room. Let's go ahead and move on to the second tote. All right, so it actually seems like we have far less Sally Hansen than I thought when I was organizing the initial chunk. It definitely felt like we had like a whole tote of just Sally Hansen, and that's definitely not the case, which I find interesting. They of course have a gazillion different lines, bottle shapes, and all of that, but I've got Sally Hansen, Saki Cosmetics, Salon Perfect, One Sanrio, a lot of Sassy brands. So I have Sassy and Chic, Sassy Cats, Sassy Pants, Station, Savannah, Sayuri, what was this one? Petites by Shearer or Schurer, I'm not sure. Scofflaw, Serendipity, Sephora, Serum Number 5, Schlee, Smoky Mountain Lacquer, Spa Ritual, Sparkly Vernice, Spell Lacquer, Squishy Face, Static Lacquer, Stella Chroma, Starly, Sugar Pill, Sugar Bell, Sundays, Supermoon, Super Chic, Swamp Gloss, Sweet Heart Polish, Sweet and Sour, One Smith and Cult, Tips Nails, Trio Lacquer, Trust Fund Beauty, Top Shelf Lacquer. I don't know if you can even see that row of Top Shelf Lacquer, and Turtle Tootsies, and Twisting Nethers or Twisted Nethers. Cannot read their label very easily, but in any case, that as well as these Sinful Colors and Supernatural Lacquers and Sassy Sauce is everything that we have in that chunk, and we need to find homes for them. That is going to be the hard part. All right, well, that I definitely had to get creative with because, like I said, I am out of drawer space. So let's see, let's just go ahead and go over what we did for Q through T. So Quixotic was the biggest brand in at least one of those sections. So Quixotic has its own drawer. They are, as far as I'm aware, not making polish anymore, which is really unfortunate. I mean, they were one of my, I wouldn't say like immediately first, but they were probably like second round of brands that I discovered when I discovered indie polish. So I really enjoyed a lot of the colors that they came out with. They were, I think, in like polish pickup and maybe HHC as well. So got a lot of colors that I like from them. Then I gave Rogue its own tote. They're a brand that I also really enjoy, so I have quite a lot from them. They do polish pickup as well as HHC and I think a few other boxes. I could be mistaken on that. But yeah, they're another brand that I really enjoy, so I have quite a lot from them. So that was the biggest brand in R. And then I gave R Miscellaneous, which you saw first in this video. Not a lot of brands in that section. So for R Miscellaneous, we have a few from RX. I think I got those in a mystery box. We have a few from Rescue Beauty Lounge. That is definitely going to need its own section once I do all of those swatches and comparisons from that estate haul. I've got Restored by Polish and Red Eyed Lacquer, of course Revlon. I think that's the rest of those, as well as Rimmel London. And then a couple from Reverie. I think I got those in a D-stash at some point. They're another brand that I'm not that familiar with. I don't know if they're even making polish still. S, like I said, definitely had its biggest chunk, although again, I swear I saw more Sally Hansen's than this when I was doing that initial sorting video. So I don't know what happened, but that's the Sally Hansen that we have. They have their own little tote for the time being. Then Sinful Colors and Sinful Shine have their own tote as well. Swamp Gloss I am currently just keeping here, but they are one of those brands that I do have sorted into their own section in my bedroom, so those will go in there. Then I've got S Miscellaneous, so everything from Saki Cosmetics to Salon Perfect. I've got Serendipity and Sephora, Spa Ritual back there, as well as like Sugar Pill and Sugar, what was that? Sugar Bunny? Sugar Bell. My one Smith & Colt, which I think I got in a Goodwill bag, and Super Moon, and as well as all of the other miscellaneous like Sundays and Super Chic and Starly. I actually don't have that many normal polishes from them. A lot of the polish that I have from Starly, surprisingly, they're toppers, so those aren't going to be organized there. Those are going to be over in the topper section. And then Smoky Mountain Lacquer, which I believe did change. Let's see, Smoky Mountain Lacquer I think is like Music City Beauty. I think that's what they changed to. In any case, just a small box of S Miscellaneous. Then for the time being, this is how I'm organizing the rest until I can get either another Helmer or get a little bit more organized. Yeah, I still haven't quite figured that part out, but this is how it's going to be for the time being. I have Sayuri over here in their own little row. Then I have Scofflaw. And then we have Schlee Polish. Serum number 5, I am leaving space for. That's why they kind of have that little open row, because I know I had more from them in that huge estate haul of nail polish. I have Stella Chroma, Sweet and Sour Lacquer, which is actually the 2 rows of white cap polishes. And then we have Top Shelf Lacquer, rounding out that little section of brands. Then I have Supernatural Lacquer over here. And then my Sassy polishes, so I tried to keep the indie brands of Sassy together, just that makes sense to me for right now. So Sassy Cats, Sassy Pants, and then of course Sassy Sauce. That is the brand of the Sassies that I definitely have the most of. Those are like those 3 rows there. And then T Miscellaneous. So I have Tips Nails, Trio Lacquer, Trust Fund Beauty, and Turtle Tootsies. I know I have more of those. I want to say there's only like 3 bottles in here. Maybe even only 2 bottles of Turtle Tootsies, and I know I have more than that. And then Twisted Nether or Twisting Nether Lacquer there. So that's how that's going to be for the time being. Let's see how we are on toppers. Look at that. Wow. Some of these I do need to go through and see if they are indeed meant to be toppers. As I mentioned before, I'm trying not to just let this become a pile of sheer shimmer polishes. Even though a lot of shimmer polishes have topper possibilities, I don't want all of my shimmers out in my toppers. So yeah, that's where all of those are, and that's where all of the Starly toppers that I have are. Those are those like really fun circle glitter toppers. So yeah, that's what we have so far for toppers. I do have one more section, U through Z, to do sorting. Although, as you saw, I really ran out of room to put everything, so I'm going to have to see about what I'm going to do for that chunk. But yeah, we'll see how I go ahead and sort those. In any case, I think that's where we're going to close it out. I didn't mention it at the beginning, but again, apologies about my voice. I am still dealing with being sick at the moment. But in any case, hopefully you had a good time checking out some fun polish with me. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in that next one.